Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most dramatic and unforgettable stories in the Bible, the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. This story takes place during the life of Abraham, a man chosen by God to become the father of a great nation. Abraham had been blessed by God and was living peacefully in the land of Canaan. His nephew Lot had separated from him and settled near the prosperous city of Sodom. At first, Sodom appeared to be a wealthy and successful city. The land was fertile, the people were prosperous, and opportunities seemed endless. However, beneath the surface, the city had become filled with corruption, violence, and wickedness. The Bible tells us that the sins of Sodom and Gomorrah had become very great before God. Their evil actions affected every aspect of society. The cries of those suffering from injustice rose up before the Lord. One day, 3 mysterious visitors arrived near Abraham's tent. Abraham immediately welcomed them with hospitality and respect. He offered them water, food, and a place to rest. As the visitors prepared to leave, God revealed a shocking message to Abraham. The cities of Sodom and Gomorrah were about to face judgment because of their wickedness. Abraham was deeply troubled. His nephew Lot and Lot's family were living in Sodom. Abraham knew the city was sinful, but he hoped there were still righteous people living there. Abraham approached God with humility and courage. "What if there are 50 righteous people in the city?" he asked. God replied that he would spare the entire city for the sake of 50 righteous people. Abraham continued asking, "What about 45, 40, 30, 20, 10? Each time God answered with mercy, saying he would spare the city if even that number of righteous people could be found. This conversation reveals both God's justice and his compassion. Meanwhile, 2 angels traveled toward Sodom. As evening approached, they arrived at the city gates. Sitting there was Lot. Unlike many others in the city, Lot immediately recognized that these visitors needed protection. He greeted them respectfully and invited them into his home. At first, the angels refused, intending to stay in the city square. But Lot insisted strongly. Finally, they agreed and entered his house. Lot prepared a meal for them, and everything seemed peaceful. However, darkness soon fell over the city. Before the visitors could go to sleep, a large crowd gathered outside Lot's house. The crowd demanded that the visitors be brought outside. Their behavior revealed just how corrupt and violent the city had become. Lot stepped outside and pleaded with the crowd not to commit such evil acts. But the people became even more aggressive. They pushed toward the door and threatened Lot himself. At that moment, the angels intervened. They struck the crowd with blindness, causing confusion and chaos. The people stumbled around helplessly, unable to find the doorway. The angels then revealed their true mission. They told Lot that God had sent them to destroy the city. The wickedness of Sodom and Gomorrah had reached its limit. Judgment was now certain. The angels urgently instructed Lot to gather his family and leave immediately. Lot rushed to warn his future sons-in-law. He told them that God was about to destroy the city. But they laughed. They thought Lot was joking. They refused to believe the warning. As dawn approached, Lot hesitated. Leaving behind everything he owned was difficult. The angels knew there was no time left. They took Lot, his wife, and his 2 daughters by the hand and led them out of the city. This act demonstrated God's mercy. Even when Lot hesitated, God helped him escape. Once outside the city, the angels gave a clear command: "Run for your lives. Do not look back. Do not stop anywhere on the plain." Lot and his family fled toward safety. Behind them, the cities remained unaware of the disaster that was about to strike. Then judgment came. The Bible describes fire and burning sulfur raining down from heaven upon Sodom and Gomorrah. The cities were engulfed in destruction. Buildings collapsed. Flames consumed everything in their path. The prosperous cities that once seemed invincible disappeared beneath divine judgment. Smoke rose high into the sky. The entire region was transformed. But amid the escape, tragedy struck. Lot's wife disobeyed the command she had been given. As she fled, she looked back toward the burning city. Perhaps she missed her home. Perhaps she regretted leaving. Perhaps she simply could not let go of her past life. Whatever the reason, her disobedience had immediate consequences. The Bible says she became a pillar of salt. Her story became a powerful warning about looking back when God calls us forward. Lot and his daughters continued their journey without her. They eventually found refuge in the mountains. The next morning, Abraham rose early. He looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah. In the distance, he saw thick smoke rising from the land, like smoke from a giant furnace. The cities were gone. The judgment God had spoken about had taken place. Yet Abraham also saw evidence of God's mercy. Lot had been rescued. God remembered Abraham's prayers and delivered Lot from destruction. The story of Sodom and Gomorrah is one of the most powerful accounts in the Bible. It teaches that God is patient, but evil cannot continue forever without consequences. It shows that God listens to the prayers of the faithful. It demonstrates His willingness to show mercy. And it reminds us that obedience matters. Lot's rescue reveals God's compassion. Lot's wife's fate reminds us not to cling to a sinful past. Abraham's prayer demonstrates the power of intercession. And the destruction of the cities shows the seriousness of rejecting God's ways. Thousands of years later, the story continues to be remembered around the world. It remains a lesson about justice, mercy, faith, and obedience. And that's the story of Sodom and Gomorrah from the Bible series. If you enjoyed this Bible explanation, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more Bible stories, Christian content, and movie explanations. Thank you for watching, and God bless.